Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina and I'm the makeup enthusiast. In today's video, I'm bringing you my first update for this year on my Pan Those Eyeshadows project Pan. I'm so excited to do this update. I have one rollout, a little sneak peek there for you. The rest I'm making really good progress on. So if you want to see how I went on these palettes this month, then stay tuned. But before we get into the video, if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe down below and let's jump into it. So for my Pan Those Eyeshadows this year, I am focusing on 5 shadows at a time. I'm also using the prompts that Makeup by Lainey started. I started working on the spreadsheet of 100 prompts last year. I didn't do as well as I hoped on that spreadsheet last year, but I have big lofty goals this year when it comes to panning eyeshadows. So I am very hopeful that I can knock a lot more prompts off the spreadsheet this year. And I, so far, have managed to knock off 1 prompt off that spreadsheet. And as I said before, a lot of these other shadows I believe are getting very close as well to having pan. So let's jump into it. Let me bring my spreadsheet up so I can remember what the prompts were for all of this. Alrighty, so starting off with probably the eyeshadow that I have the least amount of progress on. That comes from my Glaminatrix Cosmetics Nearly Natural palette. From this palette, I rolled prompt number 3, which is the least favorite shadow from your favorite palette. Currently, this beautiful palette right here, and like you can understand why, is my favorite palette. But my least favorite shade that I picked from this palette is this color here, which is called Down to Earth. It's like this kind of murky greeny color. Now, I feel like I shot myself in the foot picking that color. When I rolled this palette in, I was tossing up between the color Disrobe and the color Down to Earth as kind of like an equal least favorite out of the palette. I opted to go for Down to Earth because I thought it would work better with the other shadows that I rotated in. But as I was working through this month, I discovered that Disrobe definitely would have been a better option. I'm not going to change now. I just feel like I've committed myself now. So I am going to continue on with Down to Earth. I have used this one 9 times and I feel like there's no change in the pan. There's a little bit of like disturbance and you can kind of see where the bristles of my brush have like tapped into the pan, but there's no dip starting. There's no like signs of pan anytime soon. So this one is going to be a long haul shadow compared to some of the other shadows in the palette that I use quite regularly, like Untouched and Barely There. Like Down to Earth has no progress on it at all. So hopefully if I use Down to Earth maybe another 9 times, we might start to see a more noticeable dip. But I think that this one, and I'm predicting this one, is going to be in the project for quite a number of months. I'm just going to commit myself to it now. I know it's going to take me a while to hit pan on that one. I really shot myself in the foot with that one. The next pan that I rotated in comes from the Colourpop Blue Moon palette. This one was to match prompt number 18, which was an A to Z roulette. From that A to Z roulette, I got the letter L, and to match the letter L, I rotated in the color Lumi, which is this one here, from this palette. And I don't know if you can see, as per usual, I will have like closer up photos, but I don't know if you can see there is a dip starting to form in the middle there. I've used Lumi 10 times. I am actually wearing, it's already kind of starting to break down, but I am actually wearing Lumi on my nails today over like a purple nail polish. It gives like this really kind of pretty bluey purple shift to the nails. So I have been wearing this as a bit of like an eyeshadow topper. I've paired it with actually my Melt Cheese in Parties palette a little bit as well. Like I've put the matte purples on the outer corner and then put this one on the lid a little bit. I've worn that in a few project updates recently, and I've really liked how it looked. So it is like a really pretty kind of iridescent blue color. I wish I had pan on it by now. I feel like if maybe I painted my nails one more time, or if I just did a all over shadow look maybe once or twice more, I might have pan on this one. I'm predicting this one's going to have pan on it by the next update. So far we're at 10 uses. I think we're getting very close on this one. Moving on, we have my Glaminatrix Silent Night palette. I love this palette, it is so beautiful. I rotated this one in to match prompt number 61, which is a shadow that starts with the letter J. So from this palette, I rotated in this one here, which is Jingle Bells. So this Silent Night palette was actually a little Christmas palette that Glaminatrix did, I think like 2 years ago now. It does have like my all-time favorite Glaminatrix shadow in it, which is this one here, Baubles. It is so beautiful. But we're working on Jingle Bells in this palette, this one here. I am actually wearing Jingle Bells on my lid today as my shimmer. And I also dipped into stocking a little bit for my outer corner. I paired it with, I think I actually paired it with some colors from this palette, the Nearly Natural palette. I grabbed in for Naturally and Barely There as well. So that one and that one make up today's eyeshadow look. Jingle Bells is just so beautiful. It's so easy to work with. The shimmers in this palette are next level. Oh, I actually also have Fairy Lights on my inner corner as well. I have a feeling that I'm going to hit pan on Fairy Lights soon. Like, it's going to be like a really precise pan, but it is also like a really, what's the word? Like the shadow in there, it moves a lot. It's almost like wet, but it's not wet, if that makes sense. So Jingle Bells has 5 uses on it. I am starting to get a little dip going on it there. I think that these pans are actually quite deep, so I might find that it's probably maybe going to be up around maybe like that 20 to 30 uses before I'm able to hit pan on this one, especially if I'm only using it as an eyeshadow. I actually haven't tried this one yet as a nail polish. I just don't think I actually really have any nail polishes that one would pair very well with. So at this point in time, I haven't tested it out with that method of use. My Be Perfect Clientele palette. This was a collaboration with Jar, the makeup artist. Now I rolled this one in to match prompt number 83, which is a shadow from a palette with no pans. I don't have any pans in this palette. Now I had all kinds of trouble trying to pick what shadow to rotate in this palette. I ended up opting for this one here on the edge, which is the color Luxe. Now Luxe, I have been using this one like crazy and I still don't have a pan on it. I've used this one 25 times. I've used this one 25 times and I still don't have pan on this one. I do think that I'm getting incredibly close to having pan, but these pans are proving to be quite deep. So I don't know if you can see there, the pan is actually quite deep and I still have not found any silver or hit any silver in the bottom there. I definitely think that I am close and I think I'll have pan on this one by the next update. I don't want to have to use it another 25 times before I hit pan. So I'm anticipating maybe like another 10 uses and I might have pan on it. So that is that one. And last but not least is the shadow that I managed to hit pan on. If you've been playing at home, you probably remember that I rotated in my Juvia's Place Masquerade Mini palette. Now, out of all of these beautiful shadows, I opted to go for a boring little brown down in the corner. So I rotated in the color Fulani, which was to match the prompt of a shadow starting with the letter F. As you can see there, I have a beautiful little pan in the center there. I actually haven't really grabbed for the beautiful colors in this palette. Fulani was so easy to use and work with. It was really great for everyday work makeup. So it I still really like the formula, and like I said, Fulani was so easy to work with, but all those bright colors, still haven't touched them. But I'm happy to say and happy to report that I do have a pan in this palette. I'm very happy with that. And we have another prompt marked off the list. Another successful prompt gone. So let's swap that one. Now we need to rotate in a new prompt because we have finished one. Let me open up my Pretty Random app, and we only need one prompt. So let's see what we managed to get. We have prompt number 66, and that is a shadow that starts with the letter O. So hopefully I can find a shadow that starts with the letter O pretty quickly in this collection. So let me go see what I can find. I'm gonna try and see if I can find something that works well with what I have. And I'll be back in a jiffy. Shadow that starts with the letter O, I'm grabbing for my Colourpop Just My Luck palette. From this palette, I'm going to rotate in this color here, which is called Olive You. Now, I've decided to go for this one because I think this one will allow me to work on the Glaminatrix shadow a little bit more, because this has like that greeny tone. I'll be able to reach for that other like matte green color from the Glaminatrix palette. So let's go through and swatch all of the shadows that I'll be working on for this month. So starting off, we have Lumi, which is the iridescent blue color from the Colourpop Blue Moon palette, which is that one there. Then we have our, let's go with the Makeup by Jar palette. Then we have Luxe from the Clientele palette, which is like this beautiful neutrally color. Whoop, my swatch isn't very good because it's got like a big dip in the middle now. That's that one. Then we have Jingle Bells from the Glaminatrix Silent Night palette, which is this gorgeous color. And as I said before, I've got it on my eyes today. Those two look really quite similar. I didn't realize how similar they looked last month when I rotated them both in. Then we have Olive You, which is our new shadow. It's like this olivey money green color. So that's Olive You. Last but not least is our little matte color from the Glaminatrix palette, from our Nearly Naturals palette, and that is Down to Earth. And it's like this murky khaki green color. But that's our color palette that we are working with for the next month. It is very shimmer heavy, but I'm hopeful that I can get pan and get a few of them out next month. I think by the next update, I will definitely at least have the Clientele palette with a pan, and I think I'll also have the Blue Moon palette with a pan. I think depending on how often I wear like that greeny look, potentially I might have pan on the Colourpop, the new one, the Just My Luck palette. And this one I hope has a decent dip going by then. So that's my update. That's my first update on my pan those eyeshadows. Let me know down in the comments how you're going on panning eyeshadows this year. Let me know if you've managed to hit pan on any shadows yet this year. I would love to know. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you are new around here and you want to keep up to date on all my Project Pan updates that I'm doing this year. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I hope you are staying safe and healthy and looking after yourself, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye, beautiful.